Okay, let's come back to series of videos in preparation for machine learning exam on AWS. And in this video, I will try to answer to all the static questions for all the domains from AWS machine learning specialty Readiness. Okay, and it will be a quite long video, so take your cup of coffee and let's start. Okay, and the question number one. A financial planning company is using the Amazon SageMaker endpoint with an auto-scaling policy to serve its forecasting model to the company customers to help them to plan for retirement. The team wants to update the endpoint with the latest forecasting model, which has been trained with Amazon SageMaker training job. The team wants to do it without any downtime and with minimal change to the code. What steps should the team take to update this endpoint? Okay, the situation is like this. We have the auto-scaling requirement. We have a problem that we need to serve forecasting model, and they want to update a endpoint with the latest model. They have some old model and they want to update instance with the latest model. Okay, and let's go to options and update the endpoint using a new configuration with the latest model Amazon S3 path, then register the endpoint as a scalable target. The second, use the new endpoint configuration with the latest model Amazon S3 path in the update endpoint API, and create a new endpoint using new configuration with the latest model, and register the endpoint as a scalable target. The last one is the register the endpoint as a scalable target. Update this endpoint using the endpoint configuration with the latest model Amazon S3 path. Finally, register the endpoint as a scalable target again. I think if you want to use the latest model with auto-scaling in Amazon SageMaker instance, we need to deregister the old model and to register the new one, and finally to make it as scalable. Okay. The next question. A navigation and transportation company is using a satellite images to model weather around the world in order to create the optimal routes for its ship and planes. The company is using Amazon SageMaker training jobs to build and train its models. However, during training, it takes too long to download the company 100 of gigabytes data from Amazon S3 to the training instance before the training starts. What should a company do to speed up this training job while keeping the cost low? And now I'm quickly scanning the answers, and I see here is the pipe mode. And I don't read the rest of options. I know for this problem the pipe mode is using, and let's go to another question. Machine learning engineer at real estate startup wants to use a new quantitative features for existing machine learning model that predicts housing prices. Before adding the feature to the clean dataset, the engineer wants to visualize the feature in order to check for outliers and overall distribution and skewness of the feature. What visualization technique should machine learning engineer use? We need to select two options. Okay, and we have a histogram, scatter plot, box plot, TCNA, and heat map. And the main keywords in here is we need to visualize the future in order to check for outliers. And the best option to visualize outliers is box plot and TCNA. The next question. A data scientist wants to include months as a categorical column in a training dataset for a machine learning model that is being built. However, the machine learning algorithm gives another error when the column is added to the training data. What should the data scientist do at this column? Okay, scale the month using standard scaler is not correct. Map the month column data to numbers from 1 to 12 and uses numerical mapped column. No. Fill and A is not correct. Yeah, we need to use a one-hot encoding. The next question. A financial organization uses multiple machine learning models to detect irregular patterns on its data to combat fraudulent activities such as money laundering. They use a TensorFlow-based Docker container on GPU-enabled Amazon EC2 instances to concurrently train the multiple models for this workload. However, they want to automate the batch data preprocessing and machine learning aspect of this pipeline, scheduling them to take place automatically every 24 hours. What Amazon service can they use for this? Okay, the main keywords in here is data preprocessing and scheduling the actions. And as you know, we can schedule the ATL with, as I remember, the Amazon batch. I'm also thinking about Amazon Glue, but I think Amazon batch can be scheduled. So I leaving as it is with Amazon batch, and let's go to the next question. Okay, a security and networking company wants to use a machine learning to flag certain IP addresses that have been known to send spam and phishing information. The company wants to build a machine learning model based on previous user feedback indicating whether specific IP addresses have been connected to a website designed for spam and phishing. What is a simple solution that company can to implement? Okay, and we have several options in here. It is regression classification. I think it is classification because we need to detect, we need to predict whether specific IP addresses have been connected. No, we need to predict if it's a spam or phishing information or not. So I think it's like a classification problem. Yeah. I think we can go to the next question. Yeah. A company is using genomic data to classify how different human DNA affect their cell growth so that they can predict a person's chance to getting a cancer. Before creating and preparing the training and validation datasets for the model, the company wants to reduce the high dimensionality of the data. And what techniques should the company use to achieve this goal? Okay, the main keywords in here is to reduce the dimensionality of data. And I think it's not difficult question. We know that tCNA and PCA works for this. Okay, so the next question. An analytics company wants to use a fully managed service that automatically scales to handle the transfer of its Apache web logs, syslogs, text, and videos on their web server to Amazon S3 with minimum transformation. What service can be used for this process? We have Kinesis Data Analytics, Kinesis Video Streams, Kinesis Data Streams, and Kinesis Firehose. Okay, you read the question again, and the main keywords in here is a fully managed service and automatically scaling and transfer Apache data on their web servers to Amazon S3. We have analytics streams, data streams, and Firehose. Video streams absolutely is not correct. I think for this one, the Kinesis Firehouse works because it's a fully managed. It works with scaling, and it's transfer log data to Amazon S3. Okay, the next question. An ad tech company is using XGBoost model to classify its clickstream data. The company data scientist is asked to explain how the model works to a group of non-technical colleagues. What is a simple explanation of the data scientist can provide? And okay, XGBoost is an efficient and scalable neural network architecture. It's not correct. XGBoost is a robust, flexible, scalable algorithm that uses logistic regression to classify data into buckets. It's also not correct. XGBoost is an extreme graded boosting algorithm that is optimized for boosted decision trees. Yes, that's correct. And the last one, XGBoost is a state-of-the-art algorithm that uses logistic regression to split each. Okay, it's not correct, I see. So the next question. A real estate startup wants to use a machine learning to predict the value of homes in various cities. To do so, the startup data science team is joining real estate price data with other variables such as weather, demographic, and standard of living data. However, the team is having problems with slow models convergence. Additionally, the model includes large weights for some features, which is causing degradation in model performance. What kind of data preprocessing technique should the team use to more efficiently prepare this data? Okay, we have one hot encoder, standard scaling, normalizer, and max absolute scaler. I think the last one is not correct. Normalizer, it could be one hot encoder is not because we have a multiple variables. I think the correct one should be a standard scaler, because standard scaler works on the columns and it's scaling each column separately. Okay, leave it as it is. The next question. A data scientist is using stochastic gradient descent as the gradient optimizer to train a machine learning model. However, the model training error is taking longer to converge to the optimal solution than desired. What optimizer can the data scientist use to improve training performance? We have AdaGrad, graded descent, mini-batch, graded descent, RSMprop, Javier, and Adam. And okay, Javier is not the way to improve the training. It's like initialization solution. We have AdaGrad, RSMprop, and Adam optimizer that can help in this problem. The next question. A machine learning engineer is creating a regression model for forecasting company revenue based on an internal dataset made up of past sales and other related data. What metric should the engineer use to evaluate the machine learning model? Okay, we have a regression, so the correct answer is not precision, not cross entropy, not sigmoid, it's a root mean square error. Okay, the next question. A log analytics company wants to provide a history of Amazon SageMaker API calls made on its client account for security analysis and operational troubleshooting purpose. What must be done in the client account to ensure that the company can analyze the API calls? We have to use the Amazon SageMaker SDK to call the SageMaker history function, enable CloudWatch log, enable CloudTrail log, and use IAM roles logs are added to those IAM roles. Okay, this kind of question is quite complicated for me, and I cannot to answer to this question very straightforward. So I think I need to think a little bit and okay, read the question again. we want to provide a history of Amazon SageMaker API calls. I think that for API calls, CloudTrail is dedicated. Yeah, and CloudWatch is more dedicated for training metrics and something like this. I think it is too much complicated and it is not directly related to the question. Okay, the next question is, a multinational banking organization provides loan services to customers worldwide. Many of its customers still submit loans application in paper form in one of the bank branch location. The bank wants to speed up the loan approval process for this set of customers by using machine learning. More specifically, it wants to create a process in which customers submit the application to the clerk, who scans and uploads it to the system. This system then reads and provides an approval or denial of the application in a matter of minutes. What can bank use to read and extract the necessary data from the loan application without needing to manage the process? I think we need to forget about this part and we need to focus on the last sentences. And the main problem in here, we need to extract the necessary data from the text documents without needing to manage the process. And I think the Amazon text extract is only the way how we can to handle this process, because CNN is working for image data. Personalized is not what the answer is focusing. LSTM model is more for time series data. So I leave it with Amazon text extract. Okay, the next question. A machine learning scientist has built a decision tree model using scikit-learn with 1000 trees. The training accuracy for the model was 95.2% and the test accuracy was 70.3%. Should the scientist use this model in production? Okay, the answer is not. He shouldn't. So we remove all options that is yes, and this option tells us no because it's generalizing well on the training set, and no because it's not generalizing well on the test set. And this is a quite easy question because it's not generalizing well on the test set. The next question. A data and analytics company is expanding its platform on AWS. The company wants to build a serverless product that preprocesses large structured data while minimizing the cost for data storage and compute. The company also wants to integrate the new product with an existing machine learning product that uses Amazon Elastic MapReduce with Spark. What solution should a company use to build this new product? Okay, we want to build a serverless product that works with large structured data and minimizing costs for data storage and compute. Okay, and answers is use the Amazon Lambda for data preprocessing, save the data in Amazon S3 in CSV format. I eliminate this option because it's using CSV is not very efficient. Second, use AWS Lambda for data preprocessing, save the data in Amazon S3 in Parquet format. Parquet format is good one, so it could be. The next, use AWS Glue for data preprocessing, save them in Amazon S3 in CSV format. Okay, AWS Glue can work with large structured data and it's serverless, as you know. And the last one, use AWS Glue for data preprocessing, save the data in Amazon S3 in Parquet format. I think it's correct one because it's using a Parquet format and it's work with AWS Glue. Okay, go to the next question. A video streaming company wants to create a searchable video library that provides a personalized searching experience and automated content moderation for its users. so that when the user search for a keyword, they get all the videos that map to that keyword. The company wants to do it with a minimal cost and limited need for management. What approach should the company take to building this solution? Okay, the main keywords in here is the automated content moderation for its user. We are looking for keywords to get all the videos that map to that keyword. Okay, and we need to do it with a minimal cost, and it will be a personalized searching experience. Personalized. Okay, read the options. Use AWS batch to transform the batch of video files into metadata. No, I think it's not correct. Use Amazon Kinesis video streams to stream the videos to Amazon Elastic Map Reduce in order to create a machine learning model. Okay, use Amazon recognition video to extract metadata from the video. As you know, recognition can extract some kind of metadata. Okay, and the last one, use Amazon SageMaker to create a machine learning model that extract metadata from the videos. Okay, and when I see to these options, I think that if we are talking about minimal cost and limited need for management, the recognition service can handle this kind of problem in the most efficient way, because it can to extract some metadata, some keywords, similar things. So leave it with Amazon recognition. And the next question is, a data scientist for a credit card company is creating a solution to predict credit card fraud at the time of transaction. To that end, the data scientist is looking to create a machine learning model to predict fraud, and will do so by training that model on an existing dataset of the credit card transactions. The dataset contains 1,000 examples of transactions in totals, only 50 of which are labeled as fraud. How should data scientists deal with the class imbalance? Okay, this is one of the standard question that you can accept in the real exam, and this mode is one of the options that works with this, and I don't read the rest of the options, so I think this is correct. Okay, the next. An online new organization wants to expand its reach globally by translating some of its most commonly read articles into different language using machine learning. The organization data science team is gathering all the news articles that they have published in both English and at least one other language. They want to use this data to create one machine learning model for each non-English language that the organization is targeting. The models should only require minimum management. What approach should the team use to building these models? It is a very interesting question. Okay, and we are working with language. We are considering in the articles, it is a text data, and we want to translate non-English text to English text. So let's quickly scan to the options. The first one, use the Amazon SageMaker object to vector to create a vector. It could be, I think. The second one, use Amazon SageMaker object to vector to create a vector. Use the SOC-I model. I don't know this model, so I eliminate this option. Use Amazon SageMaker object to vector to create a vector. Use the Amazon SageMaker built-in sequence-to-sequence model. Yes, sequence-to-sequence is working with machine translation, so I think it will be correct one. and use Amazon SageMaker object to vector to create a vector, then use a long short-term memory LSTM model. Yes, LSTM in some cases also working with machine translation, but I think for this kind of question, the standard sequence to sequences work the best. Okay, the next question is, a data scientist wants to tune the hyperparameters of machine learning models to improve the model's F1 score. What technique can be used to achieve this desired outcome on Amazon SageMaker? We need to select two options. Okay, breadth first search. I don't know what is meaning. Random search, depth first search, and grid search, and bias optimization. Okay, and first of all, I'm thinking about random search, grid search, and bias optimization, because all the options could be used, but as you know, random searches work better than grid search, and bias optimization is also a quite efficient way to tune hyperparameters. So I'm not very sure to select grid search, but okay, I leave it with random search and bias optimization. Okay, the next question is, a logistic company is tracking the arrival and departure of their ships at various ports around the world using image recognition. They have collected about 2.3 terabytes of high-quality images for training their convolutional neural network. This training data will also be used concurrently by other data scientists in the company for additional data science projects. They want a solution to provide a high throughput and consistent low latency to process the machine learning datasets. What service should a company use to store this training data? Okay, we have a situation. We have a very big data set. We have a lot of data, and different data scientists want to use the same data source. Okay, and we have answers Amazon AWS, Amazon FSX for Lester, Amazon S3, and Amazon Kinesis. Okay, this is a question that you should know some specific services for this situation, and I think that is Amazon FSX for Lester. Okay, the next question. What factors lead to the wide adoption of neural networks in the last decade? Select 3. Okay, cheaper CPUs. Maybe. Wide adoption of cloud-based services. Okay, maybe. And an order of magnitude increase in data collected. Also, it could work. Efficient algorithm. Also. Cheaper GPU, of course it could work, but I need to select only 3. Okay, efficient algorithm is, I think it should be, because the algorithm is improving all the time. Wide adoption of cloud-based services. We can discuss about this stuff. I think it's some not very straightforward answer. We have an order of magnitude increased in data collected. We have efficient algorithm and cheaper GPU. Okay, leave it as it is and go to the next question. Yeah, so a data scientist at an ad tech startup wants to update a machine learning model that uses Amazon SageMaker endpoint using the canary deployment methodology. Okay, canary deployment is very specific question. Methodology in which the production variant 1 is the production model and the production variant 2 is the updated model. How can the data scientist efficiently configure this endpoint configuration to deploy the 2 different versions of the model while monitoring the Amazon CloudWatch invocations? Okay, create two Amazon SageMaker endpoints and change the endpoint URL after testing a new endpoint. I think it's too much simple. Create an endpoint configuration with a production variant for the two models with a weight ratio of 0 and 1. Update the weights periodically. Okay, it could be create an endpoint configuration with a production variant for the two models with a weight ratio of 10 and 90. Okay, I'm thinking about this too. Create an endpoint configuration with production variant for two models with equal weights. Okay, if you have a production number 1 and the production variant number 2, and we are using a canary methodology, and we want to configure the endpoint to deploy two different versions of the models while monitoring the Amazon CloudWatch invocation. Okay, and if we are talking about ratio, I think this option should be the correct. I'm thinking between this and this, but I think 0 and 1 should be the correct one, and then we should update the weights periodically. Okay, the next question. A data scientist wants to use the Amazon SageMaker hyperparameter tuning job to automatically tune a random forest model. What API does the Amazon SageMaker SDK use to create and interact with Amazon SageMaker hyperparameter tuning jobs? We have a hyperparameter tuner job. We have a hyperparameter tuner. We have a hyperparameter, and we have a hyperparameter tuning job. In documentation, it's written that a hyperparameter tuner is this API call that lets you interact with hyperparameters. Okay, we have a confusion matrix. A data scientist at a credit card company trained a classification model to predict fraud at the time of transaction. The data scientist used a confusion matrix to evaluate the performance of the model. Using the confusion matrix, determine the percent of positive records that were classified correctly. Choose the answer that also labels this evaluation metric correctly. Okay, we are asked to answer what is the percent of positive records that were classified correctly. So we have a positive, true positive, it's 100, and we have a predicted negative, but it's a true positive, but it is in real it's a positive. So we have a 100 divided by 100 plus 25, and it is recall because we're dividing in this direction. It is recall, it is not precision, and it is about 80% as a guess. Okay, the next question. A machine learning engineer wants to use Amazon SageMaker and build XGBoost algorithm for the model training. The training data is currently stored in CSV format with the first 10 columns representing features and the 11th column representing the target label. Okay, and what should a machine learning engineer do prepare for the data for use in an Amazon SageMaker training job? Okay, the data should be split into training, validation, and test set. The data set should be uploaded into Amazon S3. I think it's too simple. Yeah, we should consider it into target label also. The target label should be changed to the first column. Yes, that's correct. The data should be split into training, validation, and test set. And then finally, the dataset should be uploaded to Amazon S3. I think that's correct. Okay, the target label should be changed to the first column. Yeah, that's correct. The dataset should be uploaded to Amazon S3, and finally Amazon SageMaker can be used to split. No, you should split before. The dataset should be uploaded directly in Amazon S3. Amazon SageMaker can then be used to split the data. No, you should split before, so this answer should be correct. Okay, it's a long question. Data scientists at a retail company is using Amazon SageMaker to classify social media posts that mention the company into one of two categories. Posts that requires a response from the company and posts that do not. The data scientist is using a training dataset of 10,000 posts, which contains a timestamp and author of full text of each post. It's some kind of metadata and some information inside. However, a data scientist is missing the target labels that are required for the training. What approach can the data scientist take to create a valid target label data? Okay, so forget about this part and just answer to the last question. Use a sentimental analysis. No, it's not sentimental analysis. Use Amazon Mechanical Turk to publish human intelligent tasks that ask Turk workers to label the post. Yeah, this correct ones, I think. Use the probability distribution of two classes and Monte Carlo. Okay, it's too much complicated. Ask the social media handling team to review each post using Amazon SageMaker ground through and provided the label. Yeah, we should use a ground through for this problem. Use k-means. No. Okay, we have to select only two. So I leave it with Mechanical Turks and ground through. The next question. An advertising and analytic company use machine learning to predict user response to online advertisements using a custom XGBoost model. The company wants to improve its machine learning pipeline by porting its training and inference code written in R to Amazon SageMaker and do so with minimal changes to existing code. How should a company set up with this pipeline? Okay, it's a very specific question because we are using R and want to transfer these models to Amazon SageMaker. Okay, use the Amazon pre-built R containers option and port the existing code over to container. Register a container in Amazon Elastic Container Registry. Finally, run the training and inference job using this container. Okay, maybe. Use the build your own container Amazon SageMaker option. Create a new Docker container with existing code. Register the container in Amazon Elastic Container Registry. And finally run the training and inference job using this container. I think could be a possible solution. Use Amazon built-in algorithm to run their training and inference job. Okay, we have a lot of missing parts in here. Create a new Amazon SageMaker notebook instance. Copy the existing code into Amazon SageMaker notebook, then run the pipeline from this notebook. Okay, it does not solve the problem. Okay, and I leave it with use the build your own container option. We need to create a new Docker container with the existing code. Okay, then register the container in Amazon Elastic Container Registry. Yes, we have to register the new container and finally run the training and inference job using this container. I think it's a full pipeline that includes all the requirements that this question is asking for us. I'm not sure, but we will see. Okay. The next question. Data scientists want to create a linear regression model to train on a housing dataset to predict home prices. As part of that process, the data scientist created a correlation matrix between the dataset features and the target variable. The correlation between the target and two of features, feature 3 and feature 7 are 0.64 and minus 0.85 respectively. Which feature has a stronger correlation with the target variable? Of course, it has a positive value of correlation. It is not asking about magnitude, but it's asking about strongness. And we have a positive and negative value of correlation coefficient. And we have a feature 3 and feature 7. And the stronger correlation is with this one, and this has a feature number 3. Yeah, feature number 3. Okay, the next question. A rideshare company wants to create intelligent conversational chatbots with that will serve as first responders to customers who call the report on issue with their ride. The company wants these chatbots customers call to mimic natural conversation that provides personalized experience for the customers. What combination of Amazon Web Services can the company use to create this workflow without a lot of ongoing management? Okay, quickly scan the options. Transcribe using for convert audio to text. Lex is something like a chatbot. Poly is text to audio. Transcribe, as I mentioned before, is audio to text. I think the most straightforward answer is Amazon Lex. Okay, the next question is, okay, we on the finish line, I see. A video streaming company is looking to create a personalized experience for its customer on its platform. The company wants to provide recommended video to stream based on whatever similar user watched previously. To this end, it is collecting its platform clickstream data using an ETL pipeline and storing the logs and systemic logs in Amazon S3. What kind of algorithm should a company use to create a simple solution in this situation? Okay, we have recommender system, we have regression, reinforcement learning, classification. Okay, no more comments, it's recommender system. Okay, and a video streaming company wants to analyze its virtual private cloud flow logs to build a real-time anomaly detection pipeline. The pipeline must be minimally managed and enable the business to build a near real-time dashboard. What combination of Amazon service and algorithm can the company use for this pipeline? Okay, it's a quite easy question, and we are working with anomaly detection and near real-time requirement. And for this, I'm looking for analytics and random cut forest. Okay, the next question. A team of data scientists want to use Amazon SageMaker training jobs to run two different versions of the same model in parallel to compare the long-term effectiveness of the different version in reaching the related business outcome. How should a team deploy this model version with the minimum management? Okay, it's a very specific question and it's showing that you need to know not only the basic but for some knowledge for this specific situation. Okay, create a Lambda function that downloads the models from Amazon S3 and calculates and returns the prediction of the two models. I think it's too simple. Create a Lambda function that pre-processes the incoming data, calls the two Amazon SageMakers endpoints for the two models, and finally returns the prediction. Okay, I don't know. Create an endpoint configuration with prediction variant for two models with equal weight. I think if you have two models, if you have a training job of two different versions of the same model, and if you want to compare the long-term effectiveness, I think the best option to set a the equal weights to each of these models, and to see, and then we can to correctly compare these models. Okay, and create an endpoint configuration with production weighted for the two models with a weight ratio 90 and 10. No, the weight should be equal, I think. Okay, leave it as it is. Okay, the next question. A retail company currently relies heavily on the data it collects to derive important business insight. Its current pipeline consists of a nightly batch extract, transform, and loads. Okay, it's ETL of its data extracted from various sources like company web servers and third-party sources on Amazon Elastic MapReduce instance. The processed data then stored in Amazon S3. Okay, we have multiple data sources. The company, however, is finding it increasingly difficult to manage this pipeline because they don't have enough data engineering on stuff. What Amazon Web Service could a company use to help solve this issue? AC2 not Lambda is not directly doing this. I think it's Amazon Glue, which has a crawler, which can read metadata schemas for different data sources, I guess. Okay, next question. A healthcare organization has an application that takes in sensitive user data. This data is encrypted at rest and stored in an Amazon S3 bucket using customer-managed encryption with Amazon Key Management Service. A data scientist in the organization wants to use this encrypted data as features in an Amazon SageMaker training job. However, following error continues to occur. Data download failed. What should the data scientist do to fix this issue? Okay, let's think. I'm not very strong in this kind of question. Okay, add S3 with star to the end to the IAM role that is attached to Amazon SageMaker training job. Make sure that Amazon Web Service Identify and Access Management role, this IAM role, is used for Amazon S3 access to has permission to encrypt and decrypt the data with the AWS KMS key. Specify the volume KMS key ID in Amazon SageMaker training job. Oh, no, I'm not sure about this answer. Add enable KMS to Amazon SageMaker training job. Then specify the Amazon S3 bucket that includes the data. I didn't hear about this enable KMS, so I think I would eliminate these two last options. And okay, let's read again the question. Organization has application that takes a sensitive user data. Okay, this data is encrypted at rest and stored in Amazon S3 bucket using customer managed encryption with AWS KMS. A data scientist in the organization wants to use this encrypted data as a feature in Amazon training job. And the error is data download failed. So we are talking about KMS, and from my options only this selection talking about KMS. Okay, so I leave it as it is. Okay, and now I answered to all the questions from this test, and the result is domain number 1 is 100%, domain number 2 is 90%, the domain number 3 is 94%, and domain number 4 is 100%. And where I made my errors? Okay, about visualizing the outlier. It was histogram and box plot, not tCNA. Okay, this was my mistake. And the second mistake was about indicating the IP that can be a spam or not a spam. It is not classification, but a rule-based solution should be used instead of machine learning. Okay. I can't discuss about it, but okay. If the system shows that is correct, that means that is correct. Okay, and our answers are answered correctly. So I think that's all for this video. It took around 1 hour. I hope that it was not too much for you, and this is how I'm training for my certification exam. And if you have some question, if you have some comments about my answering into this test, or you have some advice, so write your comments down to this video. I really appreciate it, and I think I will create more similar videos, maybe shorter, and see you on the next videos. So never stop learning, and bye bye.